Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and today we'll be continuing our word series. So, these are a series of words that have just come to me out of seemingly nowhere, and I would just find myself running for my notebook or running for the note on my phone to write them down and record them because I knew that they were special words. Like I knew that they would be meaningful in my own life, and I hope that they encourage you just by sharing them with you. I hope that you feel seen, known, and heard, which is what the latest book is about. So this one, the theme is you have not gone too far. So I'm going to read the word first, and then I'm going to talk about just some context on what it might mean and how it might encourage you. So it says, you have not gone too far. You're right where you need to be. Don't be swayed by those around you. Take note of what you're taking in. Be protective over your mind, heart, and time. Keep watch over your talent. Steward it well. You're coming into who you're meant to be. So there's a lot there, right? But the main theme, the first line, is usually the one that begins the word and really ends the word. So you have not gone too far. So when you think that you're going down a path and you're pursuing something that is related to maybe something of your calling or your purpose, or you're seeking an answer on something that you really want or need to find, you have not gone too far. It's easy to let hopelessness and discouragement creep in. And I think we all can feel that on probably a weekly basis and sometimes daily. And we have to combat that. We have to fight against that. So just, I think, pausing for a moment and telling yourself, I'm right where I need to be on this journey. I don't need to do anything more or anything less. I haven't gone too far. I'm right where I need to be. And then this leads into the next part, which is don't be swayed by those around you. And I think that's important when you're pursuing something that might be new, or you're pursuing something that might be connected to just your calling or the lanes that you run in, so to speak, whether it be your family or your friends or your work, your passion, a new project. It could be anything, but think about the lanes that you run in and the things that you really want to pursue or are feeling just an inkling to go deeper to pursue. This isn't meant to be oh, you have to go do something else today. This is meant to be no, you're right where you need to be. Don't be swayed by those around you. And if you need to, pull in for a little bit and take note of what you're taking in. Who are your sources? Who's speaking into your life? And that allows you to get protective in a good way over your mind, your heart, and your time, because all of those things will influence you and how you pursue whatever it is that you're pursuing, the lanes that you're running in, right? So when we take note of what we're taking in, when we evaluate our inputs, that influences our mind, right? And then the thoughts that we have then trickle down into feelings, belief, right? Things that impact our heart and the condition of our heart. So it's thinking about, hey, what are those things that are creating maybe it's bitterness, resentment, anger. I talk about this in the book. It's called The Weeds in the Way. Fueling like a false sense of control, pride, any of those things that can be negative and impact us and hinder us, or it could be discouragement, depression, anxiety, hopelessness, right? So any of those things, just taking note of them and catching your thoughts before they move into feelings, which then impact your heart, beliefs, cycle through your whole body, right? So if we can catch them at the forefront and we cannot be swayed by those around us, this will help. And at some point a while back, I was preparing for a retreat, and I had the thought to write down every type of influence or person that was speaking into my life. And that could be just all the way from like the podcast that I listen to friends, family, relationships. And what I was able to do is make a list. And I didn't conjure up thoughts or anything like that. I just literally listened for, okay, with this voice or, this influencer, what comes to mind? And it's just so crazy without even having to think or really do anything. I had a first initial reaction and response of like, no, this actually, when I listen to it, stirs up anxiety, or this makes me doubt what I'm doing and what I know that I'm supposed to be doing, or, and so as I went through that list, it was so impactful for me to take an account of the voices that are influencing me. And so now I know when I have to pull in and when I have more capacity to expand and take on those voices or relationships. So, and in seasons of when you feel like you encounter hardship a lot of times, or when you're just in a season where things are like tough, you usually have to just pull in and be real aware of those voices so that you don't lose your way. So, and this is like, the whole theme of this is really not losing your way. So keep watch over your talent and steward it well. So that's be vigilant. Keep watch over your talent so that you can steward it well. So whatever it is that the lanes that you're running in, and again, this can be applicable to life and business. We talk about this as StoryWork all the time. Both apply. You're coming into who you're meant to be. You're always coming into who you're meant to be, right? You're always progressing throughout life. And so whatever it is that you're walking through, whatever point you're at, you're right where you need to be then. And there's things you can be aware of. I don't want to say do, because it's not about doing. It's about just being aware of and taking note of what you're taking in and keeping watch over that talent so that you can steward it well. There's a kid's book that's so good on this. I don't know if it's the one where it's what do you do with a problem? I think there's another one. Kobe Yamato. I think that's the way you say it. I'll have to look. But it's a great kids book that I read to my kids. And it's like, I don't think it's what do you do with a problem? What do you do with an idea? I think that's what it's called. And it's about this little, like the imagery in it is incredible. It's like this little, ball almost of like sunlight that he starts with, and like, what he has to protect against, storms, or, and basically it's like the negative voices or the discouragement in life to let this thing grow, and then what it turns into, right? So that's really like the precipice of this message is that just be encouraged. You haven't gone too far. You're right where you need to be. Don't be swayed. Take note of what you're taking in. Keep watch over your talent, and you're coming into who you're meant to be. So thanks so much for listening. I hope this encouraged you. If it did, leave us a review. That always helps. And for more, head to storywork.co. Thanks.